Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another Draco Reaction Vlogs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn the notification on for the channel. And today was actually a pretty eventful performance. What a performance today by PSG, who hammered Inter 5-0 in the Champions League final and got their first ever Champions League finals. You gotta thank Inter for handing not only PSG their first Champions League trophy, but Man City their Champions League trophy 2 years ago. And to be honest, PSG just outclassed Inter. They were the better team. They dominated the ball. They took their chances when they created. And after Inter being 2-0 down, 3-0 down in the second half, I think they just gave up and let PSG just destroy them. So we'll get into the match quickly. So, I think PSG had more chances on goal. They were taking opportunities for the likes of Doue, Kvaratskhelia, and Dembele. Those two were bigger attackers, and I think the first shot, I think Inter were just first goal that went in. Inter were just poor defending, I guess, from a set piece, and I think Doue just assisted Hakimi, and he just tapped it in, which made it 1-0. And then on the second half, it was actually second goal came for a counter. Inter was getting close to scoring, equalizing, but I think PSG center back just intercepted it and it started a counterattack. Kvaratskhelia just driving down the left, handed it to Dembele. He passed it to Doue, who took some shots after Dembele assisted him. Took a chance, he did a nice shot and it went straight in. That was 2-0. I think Thuram, on the other hand, after being 2-0 down, had an opportunity to get one back for Inter, but his header was wide off the target. And a lot of Inter players, they were just taking shots, but they weren't really testing the keeper that much, the PSG keeper. And after 2-0, earlier in the start of the second half, again, Doue scored a second goal. And there's nothing he could do to keep it on. I think Dembele or one of the midfielders who were bossing around the pitch, and they handed it to Doue, who scored. So I made it 3-0, and after that, Inter just gave up. Not necessarily gave up entirely, but they looked like a shell of themselves. I think they didn't turn up when this final actually mattered. I thought for sure, I guess, before the game started, I think Inter would sit back, park the bus, maybe score like two goals, because I thought PSG weren't clinical enough. You know, they have knocked out a lot of English teams en route to the final. But I think wasn't the Inter that we saw last week against Barcelona, 2 weeks ago against Barcelona. They weren't the same Inter. I think they just were a shadow of themselves, and they just tried parking the bus, but end up getting exposed on the counters and also through a lot of set pieces. I think the third goal they conceded, I think Doue again. He's such a great player, one of the best players in Europe, as well as Kvaratskhelia and Dembele. They actually scored the Inter midfielder and defense, as well as Vitinha, Joao Neves, and Fabian Ruiz. And then after 3-0, 4-0 came in when Dembele just did a nice pass to Kvaratskhelia, cut open the Inter defense, and Kvaratskhelia made no mistake by sliding in. I think as soon as Doue scored a second after Barcola came on, he could have added an extra 2 goals to make it 7 or 8-0 or even 10-0, but he was just missing chances. Like Barcola shot some targets wide. There's a chance after being 4-0 down, after PSG were 4-0 up, Barcola secured it, but he was actually pretty close one-on-one with the keeper, but he just scuffed his shot wide of the target. And at the end, when PSG brought some more youngsters, I think it was mainly Zulu. He he did one-on-one with the keeper again after Dembele passed it to him and cut open the Inter defense, and he just shot it in and it made it 5-0. So that was GG's. I think Inter, when they were 4-0 down, it finally tested the keeper. It says Thuram's header and a shot by one of the Inter substitutes that came on, but it really didn't do that much. And at the end, big up to PSG for winning their first trophy. And now we're going to be facing PSG in the Super Cup. And this will be fun because I think if we don't make any good chances or signings, or if we don't play same tactic, if we play a highline tactic, we're gonna get battered by PSG in the Super Cup. So it's just something a bit off topic relating to the game, but it will be Spurs against PSG in the Super Cup this August. And I think PSG are gonna cook us, and I don't think it's gonna be a fun game for us. I think it's gonna be a horror game for us, but we'll diverse from the topic. But again, congratulations to PSG for winning a trophy. I think you guys were definitely the better team, and you guys had a lot of chances that you could have created, and you did take your chances. So, big up to PSG. Big up to the PSG forwards such as Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Doue. They turned up today. They also were also cooking the inner defense and the wing backs. Big up to the midfield as well. Vitinha, what a boss in the midfield, as well as Joao Neves and Ruiz. The defense were also pretty solid too. They didn't even have to do that much. I think even the kids performed the men. Inter had a lot of older men with experience on the field, but they just gave up. But overall, that was a pretty fun Champions League to watch. I expected it to be a big close one, with Inter taking the win by 1 goal, but I was not expecting a thrashing from PSG onto Inter, especially thrashing them by 5 goals. That was a good performance of PSG, and respect to Enrique. He won them a treble. Funny thing is, when they didn't have the big stars such as Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi, they actually won a Champions League. So I think once the big stars were out, I think Enrique just made this PSG team stronger to make sure they can compete in all leagues. So big up to Enrique and PSG, and congratulations for winning on a trophy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and thumbs up to the channel. I'm out.